yet again, Kenyans are expected to be subjected to a legal and political discourse over the proposal to amend the 2010 Constitution. Despite previous attempts to amend the Constitution through Okoa Kenya, Punguza Mizigo and Building Bridges Initiative (BBI), the current regime expects to use their numerical advantage in Parliament and without subjecting Kenyans to a referendum. But as Chris Thairu reports, there still lies the judicial hurdle in case any Kenyan moves to court to challenge the move.
Since the promulgation of the 2010 Constitution that gave the country a new constitutional order under the late President Mwai Kibaki, it has not been a walk in the park for any regime, politician or organization to amend the 2010 Constitution, with all attempts which had been initiated through a popular initiative falling flat. This time round, the Kenya Kwanza administration under President William Ruto plans to use a different route. Given their numerical strength in both houses of parliament, they intend to use a parliamentary initiative to amend the 2010 Constitution.
We must accept the reality that Kenya Kwanza currently controls the three arms of government. It can be an advantage to the country. It can be a benefit to the country or a curse to the nation, where one individual controls all the three arms of government.
Had he called it a legislative directive, then we would have all members of parliament now rejecting the same. But since it is a proposal, let it be brought to the floor of the House. Let members be given time to deliberate on it. LSK is doing its work. We know they have all the legal minds. The president respects that.
The argument has been that by reintroducing the office of official opposition leader, fully funded by the exchequer, and allowing more women nominated in parliament to meet the 2/3 constitutional requirement, then Kenyans will have to go to a referendum.
People should be so worried about president initiating constitutional amendment, because the moment you encourage presidents world over to be initiating amendment, especially a president who has just been elected into office, then you are setting the country into a very dangerous path.
Are you telling me that any president across anywhere in the world will wish to empower an opposition by creating for it an office, by creating for it funding it, if it is not to control opposition?
He is a president who cares, and that is why he cares. And he wants his government to be put under proper checks. And that is why he is allowing the creation of the office of the opposition leader. Who else does that?
Although majority of the politicians seem to agree that there is need to amend some clauses in the 2010 Constitution, the political interest also seem to have superseded their common interest, hence forcing a divided opinion, and finally the initiative failing.
Maybe he's testing water. Tomorrow he may come up with something else, that he wants to amend our constitution and remove the term limit of the president. So those are things that we need to be worried about and careful in dealing with.
Our constitution is full of errors, and therefore any person with hidden agenda, mischievous, can easily use the lacuna that exists in our constitution to carry out his own agenda.
When we go for debate in the House, we will require the numbers. We have the numbers, but we don't want to use our numbers to create harm in the country. You know, like I said, it is good for everybody who will be there long even after some of us are going.
The first attempt was in 2015 when the Coalition for Reforms and Democracy called under the leadership of ODM leader Raila Odinga fell short of signatures after an authentication process despite collecting 2 million signatures.
Na sisi kama wana code tunaona hii ni dharau kubwa sana.
A few months into the second term of retired President Uhuru Kenyatta, former presidential candidate Ekuru Aukot launched the Punguza Mizigo initiative, which also flopped at the county assemblies despite getting the required 1 million signatures. And the latest failed attempt was the BBI initiative, which the Supreme Court declared unconstitutional despite having been passed by at least 44 county assemblies. Will the Kenya Kwanza be the first regime to break the jinx of attempts to amend the 2010 constitution? That question will be best answered come February next year when Parliament resumes its sittings from the long Christmas break. Chris Dairo, KTN News in Nairobi.